Hello, my name is Essie. My full name is actually Esliry Lozano, but you know, having a Hispanic name sometimes comes with people sometimes not being able to pronounce it, and that's completely okay because you all can call me Essie. So, to be completely honest with you guys, this is my first time ever speaking in front of any sort of crowd. And a few minutes ago, I looked up to one of the directors of the program and I told her, I don't know if I can do this. I didn't bring my mom. I didn't really bring a support group with me to really hold my hand and be like, you got this. This is your first time. You're courageous, and hold that deep in your heart. But seeing everybody coming up here and their story, their inspiration, and I told myself, I have to get up there. I can't back down now because we're all here for a reason. And thanks to Elaine and her inviting me, I know that I am supposed to stand up here. So to begin with who I am and why I'm here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. I came to this country at only the age of 2 years old. My parents are originally from Mexico. My dad's from Mexico City, and my mom's from Guanajuato, a small town called San Diego de la Unión. When we first got to this country, I guess my life just started with a traumatic event that happened with migrating to this country. My dad came to the country 2 months before me and my mom even thought of following him. And as soon as we followed him, me and my mom were separated and I was kidnapped for about 2 months. My mom, I can't imagine to think of the pain and how scared she was to know that we came to this country for a better life. And we couldn't even step foot on this country before we were separated and, brought a wave of depression and huge obstacle that we had to overcome. About a month before people realized that, we didn't get to this country safely and sound, my mom was brought to a gas station in which she escaped, found the first person she could find, even though her language barrier was a huge factor. She doesn't know the language English. She asked for help, told them the situation with little words, and they finally found me. I was in this home, although I don't really remember. Most of the story is told from my mom, from her side. She still has trouble speaking on it. But after I was found, we got all reunited, and my father was threatened by the people who had kidnapped me and said that he probably won't be able to live 2 months in this country. After that traumatic event happened, I then saw a door opened. My uncle, my brother, not my brother, but my dad's brother, was married to an American, in which they took us into their wing. I was raised from the age of 2 to 5 in this small home in Ocala, Florida, in which I was learning English and in which I was giving a loving family. After those years in which I, learned what Dora the Exploradora is and learn all these goods that come with being a child in America, my parents finally managed to save money to buy us a house. Once we bought the house, life was at a pretty good state, you would say. I was happy. The traumatic event that happened was already in the past. We were getting ready to move on forward. My parents were working nonstop. I would say they were pretty much alcoholics for working so much and try to provide for me. And And since they were working so much, most of the time I was spent in my life was with babysitters. I rarely saw my parents, sadly. And with this, another tragic event occurred. My babysitter had molested me at only the age of 6. I was only in kindergarten. I don't remember much of it, but what I do remember is seeing my parents once again having to carry the burden and the cross of seeing their little child in which they came to give a better life fall once again into the hands of life. After this event, we found Jesus, we found God. My parents began seeking health. I began going to counseling and live stream here in Lake County. Although most of those years became a sudden blur to me, I remember having fun in the sand pit, talking to the council, in which she told me that everything was okay and that I was going to grow up and be a person in which I was going to bring awareness to mental health. And after that, even though I didn't see a true effect in my life when the situation happened, I spent most of my life being confused on my sexual orientation. Most of my life, I was confused if I liked girls or I liked boys. I thought it was okay to, do stuff inappropriately to other kids my age. Or I thought it was okay to follow that sexual stigma. And little did I know that that was just what came in with all the tragic events that had happened in my life. And that led me to grow out of it because my parents, they are my biggest inspiration. They are the people in which I look up to. And I know that despite our tragic events and despite our obstacles, I know that they're here because of me. So for me to ever feel like I'm less worthy, or for me to ever feel like I don't belong here, I always can look at them and know that I do have a worth and I do have a purpose. I wish they were here to see me speak, although I'm kind of a little rough at this. I know that seeing my mom and my father's face and seeing their huge smile that fills up their face, knowing that I felt the courage to come up here and speak on our story. And sorry, I'm trying not to cry. This is the first time I've ever really spoken about my life, despite counselors and therapists and whatnot. But I do have to say, I'm currently studying psychology. I have been moved to bring awareness, and I've been moved to become a voice to those who don't have a voice. And I just want to give thanks to Elaine for meeting me and being able to give me the opportunity to come out and speak. If it wasn't for her, honestly, I would have been just stuck at home studying. I need to get out there. I have this yearning in my heart that I need to speak. I need to say what I need to say, because if nobody does it, then who's going to do it? And I just want to thank all of you for being able to listen and patient with me, although this is probably not one of the best talks today, but I hope that each and one of you takes a little piece of me home. And I just